Hi everybody, welcome to my June Facebook Live virtual card class for orders placed with me in May at a qualifying level. I am so glad you are here with me today. I must love you guys a lot because my daughter just popped in for an impromptu visit, not knowing I was going live. And so she's visiting with my husband, but that's okay. I get to see her pretty often, so it is what it is, and I got my hug, so I'm pretty happy. Anyway, I'm glad you're here. It looks like I'm in the right place, so I'm just going to get going. It is Monday, June 9th, 2025, and welcome. I'm glad you're here, and I'm glad I'm here. My name is Maureen Rolfes, also known as the Crazy Stamping Lady. I have been an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator for over 28 years, and I love what I do. If you are hopping on, please say hi, and if you're watching on the replay, let me know that also. I am coming to you from sunny Murfreesboro, Tennessee in the United States. Few high clouds, some breeze. It is delightful here. So this class is a special thank you to all of my customers for ordering at the $50 qualifying level last month. But everyone is open to join me today. This is an open public class. You can see all the cute little projects we make. I'll give you the measurements and recipes. So yeah, if you want to join me, that would be great. If you ordered from me in the month of May and your order was over $50, you should have received your free card kit in the mail. I heard from most people that they got them, so I'm hoping everyone did. If ever you think you should have qualified and you didn't get a kit, let me know and I'll follow up on that. This video will stay here in this group in the Crazy Stamping Lady page for at least 30 days. Sometimes I get time to upload them to YouTube. Sometimes I do not before they're deleted. So at least 30 days it will be here for you to see. Also, please share this video if you can. That really helps out my small business. It gets me notifications to other people that I might not otherwise ever get a chance to be viewed by. So I love that when you do that. I appreciate it so much. That's about it for that. Let's turn you around. We're going to get down to my table. Oh, I tightened that a little too much, guys. There you go. Down to my table. I am Maureen Rolfes, the Crazy Stamping Lady. I guess I forgot to get my stuff out here. I did forget to get my stuff out here. Let's do it real quick. My blog is crazystampinglady.blogspot.com. My email is crazystampinglady@gmail.com. My Facebook is facebook.com/crazystampinglady. My YouTube is under my name, Maureen Rolfes, and you can shop with me at stampingwithmaureen.stampinup.net. And Stampin' Up! Does have a rewards program now, so for every qualifying order of $20 or more that you order online, you will automatically receive 10% back in rewards on future purchases. So that is very, very cool. Okay, guys, we're going to get right into this. I like to get through this class in less than an hour because I don't want you to have to take your whole day with me. So we're just going to start right away. Here is the recipe for my first project. So you can pull this one out. This is the card that has a white card base and pink layers inside. So if you're looking for it, you'll know which one it is. Here are the products I used and the measurements, and I will bring this back out at the end and show it to you again so that you can take a screenshot if you want. I will also post a picture of each of the cards I do and the recipe that goes with them in the comments at some point today, so you will have that information. I'm going to move that out of the way. This is the card we are making. Your flowers might vary a little bit. I think on the sample I'm going to make, it's a different flower, but it's the same layout no matter what flower you got. So let me grab out my pieces out of this envelope. Oh, yep, it is a different one that I kept. Make sure you tip your envelope and wiggle your fingers and get all the little pieces out because things like these gems can hide down in there. So for this card, you have a basic white card base. This is an A2 size, so it is 8.5 by 5.5. 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. It's going to go horizontal. You also have a piece of Pretty in Pink. And this Pretty in Pink is the two-tone designer series paper. So one side is slightly darker and the other side is slightly lighter. You can lay your flower onto it, whichever one you got, and decide if you want the lighter side or the darker side. I think both will go well, but actually on this one, I think I'm going to use the lighter side because the pink isn't exact, and so that pink matches a little better to me. And then you're going to just put this piece of cardstock. No, I think I said, but maybe I didn't. This is the two-tone cardstock and it's 2 3/4 by 4 inches. I'm going to put my seal on the darker side of it. So all of our two-tone cardstocks now come in every single color that we offer. The darker side is the closest to what our regular cardstock color is, and the lighter side is 1 tone lighter. And they're just a little bit lighter weight than our regular cardstock, but heavier for sure than our designer series paper. And I love them. They add less weight to your card, plus they give you 2 options for the coloring. Next, we're going to take our little label that I pre-punched out for you, and this was punched out using the Labeled with Love punch. And you're going to stamp whatever sentiment you choose onto this label. So for mine, I am using the Grateful for You, and that comes from the Layers of Beauty stamp set. And we're going to use Pretty in Pink ink because that is the cardstock we're matching here. I'm just going to ink that up. And when I stamp this, I'm going to stamp it more over to the right side because I want my flowers to frame my sentiment on the left side. And then we're just going to add this right to the front of our card. And I'm going to add it centered top to bottom, but farther over to the right side, maybe leaving a 1/4 inch of the pink showing over here. And I didn't stamp my envelope, but I will later, so you can see here, I would also stamp that sentiment onto my envelope. I don't always remember to do that, but I will at the end make sure I go back and put that on. And then you're going to take your flowers, and these flowers are just going to be popped up on dimensionals, or if you don't have dimensionals, go ahead and glue them down flat. It's really not going to matter. I always love having some dimension on my cards of some sort. So I'm going to pop this one up. I'm just going to put dimensionals in some strategic places. You might have gotten these 2 flowers, or I think there was even one other design, so it could be that one. But all of them should work the same exact way on your card. The designer series papers don't usually have enough that I can give everyone the same exact one when I cut things like this out. And this designer series paper, in case you're wondering, was the Wonderful World designer series paper. This was from Celebration in 2022. And most of the time for my cards that I make here, I use a lot of the retired products. So just be aware of that. I'm going to come in here and place this. I want to put it a little bit at an angle. I want to be sure that my flower is completely onto my card base, and I'm going to want to frame my sentiment just a little bit if I can. So that's how I'm going to lay that on my card. And then you should have 3 of the flat adhesive backed pearls in your kit. And these are on the last chance list. I think they're still out there. When I looked a couple days ago, they were still there. So if you like these, go ahead and get them while they're still available on that last chance list. I'm going to lay the largest pearl down here on the bottom, kind of close to my flowers, and the dimensionals are going to keep it a little safe going through the mail. And then you could have 2 small, or a large and a small, or 2 medium. I'm not sure what else I sent out. It kind of varies too, depending upon what I have. But I'm just going to lay my other 2, whatever they might be in your kit. I think they're probably 2 small ones like this, up here on the side, so that I have my little triangle there. And that is card 1, you guys. Card 1 is 1 and done. Let me grab the recipe in case you want a screenshot. And again, remember, I will be posting this recipe and this picture in the comments of this post sometime today. So that's card number 1. Quick and easy, and that's what I love about this class. They're adorable, but they are quick and easy. Card number 2. Let me grab everything for that and bring it over here. Get rid of my little label there. So this is card number 2. I think it is also stinking adorable. I did stamp my envelope with my sentiments, so I probably won't do that as I'm crafting here, but just so you know, that's what I do. So here's the pieces in your card. You can pull them all out with me. Again, make sure everything comes out because there should be 2 little hearts stuck up in your envelope, and they tend to stay stuck up in there. So be sure that you get those out. And to put this card together, we're just going to take all these pieces to the side. So we're going to start out here with a base of Balmy Blue, another A2 base, but this one's going to go vertical. And then you have 2 layers of basic white. The layer for the front of the card is 3.5 by, no, I'm sorry, that's a lie. The layer for the front of the card is 3.25 by 4.5. And that's going to go right there. And the layer for the inside of the card is the smaller one. This one is 3.5 by 5, and it'll go on the inside of your card. So I'm just going to put that in right now. I'm looking at my cardstock, and I got a little bit of ink or something on there. So I'm going to glue that part down on the inside of my card. And when you do this measurement, actually, I think I might even have made this one a little small. But you should be able to get 5 full inserts for your card out of 1 piece of white cardstock. So that's why I do that. For most times, this is plenty to write on. If I need more, then I might do a larger. I can see the corner on my card got a little bent, so I'm going to take my bone folder and just kind of flatten that out. So if you guys ever have a problem with that, use your bone folder to make that nice and flat again. Now we're going to take our other piece of white. So this is the piece that is 3.25 by 4.5. And we're going to add our 3 strips. And everyone should have these same strips. I'm pretty sure I was able to cut enough for everyone to have these same designs. On the back of them are other designs. So if you want to switch them up, go ahead and do that. But I'm going to use the same 3 I did on my sample because I liked the way they went together. So I'm going to just put some seal on the back of my polka dot. And I'm going to lay this onto, I think I really messed this up, guys. Let me look. I totally messed it up. I hope you're probably stamping with me. I actually meant to put this one in the middle and the other one on the outside. I just wrote it wrong on my notes. But I'm going to do this. If you haven't done this yet, use the smaller piece for the front of your card, the larger piece for inside. I don't know how I did that, but I was dreaming. But I'm going to come in here and use this on the front since I already stuck the other one down. And if you did, this should work too. I'm going to center it top to bottom pretty evenly. And then just leave maybe not quite a 1/4 inch of a border on the side. I'm going to take my striped one. And again, this might not look quite as well, but since I messed it up, the recipient is never going to know. And I can actually take this and trim it down with my trimmer if I want. So I might do that. We'll see how it looks when I'm done. I'm going to take this one, place it over to this side, and do that just like that. And then I'm going to do my 3rd one, centering it between the 2 of those. So let's do this. So again, I'm making it top to bottom about the same. I'm going to center it between the 2 of those. And now this is going to become the piece for the front of my card. Now, I'm going to take a piece of twine. This is a retired twine that we had. I don't even know the name of it. It was on a spool like this, and it might have come from one of our kits. But I like it. It's white, and I like that. So I'm going to take the string of it, and we're going to wrap that around this piece. To do that, I'm going to come in here with my seal about 1 inch up from the bottom, starting and then going for about 1 inch. That gives me a little flexibility on placement. And then I'm going to take this and wrap it around side to side, maybe about 1/3 of the way up on my card. So wherever you place it, it's going to work. It doesn't really matter. There's no right or wrong. Once I have that wrapped on there, I am going to take some of my tear and tape. If you have this, it works great. And just place a little piece over to anchor that onto the card. You could also use a piece of regular Scotch tape to do this. It's just I always have my tear and tape handy, so this is what I usually use. And that way, that's not going to pull out on you when the recipient gets it. We're going to take our dimensionals again, and I am going to add some to the back of this. So 1 here, 1 here, 1 here, 1 here, 1 here. I'm singing to you. And 1 here. And then, because this is a pretty big open piece, I'm going to add a couple of them right down the middle here too. So on my other one, I don't think I had to put quite as many because it was a smaller layer, but when you mess up, you make do and you do your best, and it all seems to work out in the wash. So, okay, open that up the way I want it. That is perfect. We're going to come in here and place this, and you can see it is a lot bigger on my card than my original one. But like I said, I think it's still going to be just fine. That out of the way. So the next thing you're going to do is take your punched piece, and this was punched out with the, what was this punched out with? I can't remember the name of this punch. Let me see if I have it here handy. It's hiding. Here it is. This was punched out with a to the point label punch, and I am going to stamp my sentiment. Now this label punch can go horizontal or it can go vertical. I'm going to use it vertical on this card so that my points go top to bottom. I'm going to ink up my Scent with Love sentiment with Balmy Blue, and this is from the Fancy Borders stamp set. This is an online exclusive set, which goes with the Fancy Border dies. So we're going to use that. Ink it up with the Balmy Blue. Stamp it really centered onto this label. Now again, you have to use your own sentiments because Stampin' Up! Does not allow us to do stamped images for you. So whatever you choose for your sentiment is going to be fine. I'm going to put this onto my card, and it's going to come over here kind of pretty much between these, but I want a little bit of the Designer Series paper shown. I'm going to put my dimensionals right in the middle on this one so that they fall between the dimensionals I've already placed on this card. And I just try to do that if I can, because again, that helps it when it's going through the mail to not have a dimensional on top of a dimensional. So we're just going to take 2 dimensionals, place them right down the middle. I'm going to come in here and lay this where I want it on my card, making sure that a little of the paper shows. I just think having that little paper show on the side sets off the sentiment for me. I'm going to take my 2 little hearts, and using glue dots, just put a glue dot on the back of the first one and place that going down on the bottom here, and a glue dot on the back of the second one, and place that up over here at an angle, just like that. And then in your kit, you also should have a tiny little bow like this. We're going to add this to the side of our sentiment. And to do that, I am going to take a little dab of the Tombow Blue. Looks like mine might have been sitting upside down too long without the lid on. Let's see if I can get it, otherwise I'll have to use my pin and open it up. Yeah, I let it sit overnight and didn't put the lid on. That was my fault. So I'm going to use my little straight pin here, and we're just going to poke that into the Tombow glue. I always keep one of these close by for when I do silly things like forgetting to put the lid on. And then let's see if we can get enough glue here that we can add this. Maybe not. I'm going to squish it out onto a scrap piece. So do as I say and not as I do when it comes to stuff like this, because you're not supposed to leave your Tombow glues open overnight. There, it's coming out now. I just needed to get it started. So I'm going to just put a dab. I'm putting enough that it's kind of covering that little piece of string, but not so much that it's going to ooze out anywhere. And now watch me, guys. I'm going to put this lid right back on here so I don't forget. And then we're going to take this and set it right on top of that dab of glue like that. And one thing I usually do when I want it to set there and make really good contact is I'll take a blank block, set it right on top of there, and that makes sure that my bow is really hitting that glue well, and that as it dries, it's going to stay right where it should. And that should be all it takes. And that is card number 2. Now, this is the difference in them. I do like it with the smaller one better, but that's only because I'm comparing them side by side. If I sent this to someone just the way it was, they would never know it was supposed to be smaller, and they would be fine with it. So be aware of that. Okay, this is card number 2 and the recipe. If you want to take a screenshot, the paper I used on here was our retired lighter than air paper that was in the spring 24 annual catalog, no, the spring catalog of 2024. And it's beautiful pastels. It was great. I have this left over enough for a couple more cards. You'll probably see it come up again at some time in the future. Okay, guys, let's get rid of that. Move it out of the way. Like I said, I will bring it back and I will post it. I mean, I won't bring it back at the end, but I will post it afterward sometime today with the recipe. Okay, project number 3. My recipe, here's my parts. So for this one, I used the Retired Flowers for Every Season, Cards and More, Bases and Envelopes. So it was a kit you could purchase, and it came with the envelopes and with the card bases and with these layers. And I divided that up for you guys, and we're going to make our own little cards with them. So you would have either gotten this design here, or this design here, and either one of them is going to work. Make sure you get all your little pieces out. And then the inside of these envelopes are also beautiful because they have the roses on them, which I love. Now these are smaller cards, so these are more of a gift card size that you would add to a package maybe, or if you're handing it to someone. They won't go through the mail. I don't think they're even mailable, or if they are, they would take extra postage. So I don't usually mail this side, but I thought they were so cute, and I had enough to do for everyone, so I thought, why not? So very simple for this card. You have the card base and envelope that came with the kit. You have one of the 2 floral layers, just like this. You're going to also have a small piece of basic white that is 1/2 inch by 2 1/4. Is that right? 1/2 inch by 2 1/2. Sorry about that. And Poppy Parade, that's 3/4 by 2 inches. So we're just going to start putting this together. I'm going to take my Poppy Parade layer, and I am going to add some seal to the back of it. And we're going to place that onto the front of our card. Now on this one, I placed it maybe about 3/4 inch up from the bottom. On this card, because of the flowers on here, I'm going to place it in the middle. So you can place these wherever you want, but I'm just going to go in the middle right over that white piece there. And then I'm going to take my little strip of white and I'm going to stamp Just a Note. And the Just a Note comes from the beautiful motif set. This is in our new annual catalog, the 2025 annual catalog, and it comes with great dies that go with it, but we're just doing the Just a Note out of here. And I'm going to stamp it with Poppy Parade, because there is Poppy Parade in both of these card layers. So this one works great for this. Just going to ink up just a note. And when I stamp it, I'm going to stamp it a little farther over to my right side than my left. Just like that. So there's maybe a finger's width here and a finger and a half on this side. And that's because I'm going to flag the end of this with my snips. So we're just going to come in with our snips on the end, and this is on the left side. I'm going to come in about 1/4 inch and then go from each corner to where that slit is. Just like that, and take that out. Okay, and then this is going to lay right over that other piece of Poppy Parade. And I just like the way that that sets it off. Otherwise, the white on white, or even the white on the flowers, it gets a little lost. So I'm going to take my seal again, and on the back of here, just put some, and then I'm going to line this up on, whoops, I just about lost it there. Line it up over here on the right edge, even top to bottom, and lay it on there. Just this cute little note, and then inside you can say whatever you want to say. Now we're going to use some dimensionals and pop this up onto our card base. So let me grab some of those. These card bases are printed on both sides because they're memories and more, and they're actually made for memory keeping, but they also work adorable for these cards. I'm going to cut some edges on my dimensionals here because I never waste my edges. Place that on there, and then one more in the middle on here. And get those backings off. So thank you to everyone who purchased from me last month. I so appreciate it, and I'm already working on the kits for next month's class. So if you purchase this month, you will receive one of those if you have a $50 minimum. Now, just a reminder that minimum order is after any benefit. So if you have a half price item, it's only going to count at the half price. If you redeem your rewards, they're going to be taken off of it. So you have to look at your bottom line cost before shipping and handling and tax, and that number needs to be the $50 or more to get a kit. We're going to line this up onto here, and I usually start at the bottom like this, making sure that I have an even border on both sides and the bottom, and then just lay it down flatly onto my card. That's the best way for centering, especially when it's up on dimensionals. And then you should have 3, whoa, I almost lost them, 3 little sequins in your kit. Again, I'm not sure if there's 2 small and 1 large, 2 large and 1 small. It could be a variety. And you're going to lay those onto your card wherever you want them. I am going to put one right here, and one, if I can get it off my little piece of plastic here, right here. You guys know I love sequins. They are one of my favorite things to put on cards like this because they lay so nice and flat, and they add a lot of color. And then I'm going to bring this one over here. Now that's a different placement than I did on here. So if you want to look at it, this one had 1 on the sentiment and 2 up here on the flowers. This one I'm placing on more on the white to give that a little bit more color on that white background area. So that is our card, guys. I think it's adorable. If you want to stamp just a note on your envelope, I did it repeatedly on this one, so that's how that came out. Here's the other example of that. And I'm going to bring this out for a second. If you, for some reason, want to take a picture now, otherwise I will post this. I won't post immediately because I'm hoping to have a little time to visit with my daughter before she has to leave, but sometime today it'll get posted. Okay, that is mini card. That was our 3rd card. And then we have a bonus project, and this bonus was for anyone who purchased a $75 order. And it is just a little gift card holder. So for that project, let me grab all of my pieces here. You're going to have a plastic envelope, and in that plastic envelope are all the pieces for this project right here. I'm going to get rid of that and move it out of the way. So again, the information is on here for what I used. For this one, I used, and I don't know what I did with it, to be honest. Let me see. I think I have it here close by. I used the Friends of the Ocean Designer Series paper. This is on the last chance list online. And again, when I checked, it wasn't today. It was like 2 days ago. This was still available out there. I am loving this paper. It is so bright, so beautiful, so fun. So this is what I used for our project today. And out of that, I have some pieces here. So let me tell you all the pieces real quick. I have a little plastic sleeve. Now this was a sleeve that Stampin' Up! Used to sell years ago for memory keeping. If you wanted to reproduce this card now, we sell something called flip flaps, and just go ahead and search online for flip flaps in the Stampin' Up! Site, and you could now use those to make this same exact gift holder that we're going to be making, because they're almost exactly the same size. You might have to adjust your white layer just a little bit so that it fits perfectly in the flip flap, but there's a couple sizes of them, and I'm sure you could make this work to reproduce it if you like it. I thought it was a lot of fun. But this is a retired one that we used to sell. It had a little thing with holes in that I just cut right off, and that's what you would do on the flip flap. You would just cut the adhesive end off and make it the piece that you need it to be. It just needs to still be sealed on 3 sides, which the flip flaps would be, and so was this piece. So I hope that makes sense. I have a piece of basic white cardstock, and this is 3 1/4 by 3 5/16 inches. And this fits in here perfectly. The 3 1/4 is height, and the 3 5/16 is width. It's just slightly wider than it is high. So you might want to stick it in to make sure that it goes in all the way like that, so that you know your orientation when you're making this. Okay? And then, so I don't forget my orientation, so I have it right as I work on this, I am going to take the sentiment that says "Time to Celebrate." This is out of the beautiful Butterfly stamp set, and I am going to use Summer Splash and stamp this onto the bottom of this white layer. Centered side to side, right at the bottom, just like that. Now this is going to become the back of my image, but this will help me know that this is the direction I want this piece of cardstock to go. Okay, so that's it. So I'm going to flip it over. We're going to take the piece of Designer Series paper, and this is 3 1/8 by 3 1/4 inch. And I'm going to add some seal to the back of it. Now, if you love the orange side and you think that'll work for you, that's fine too. But I love these little starfish. I think they are so cute. And this is going to go onto the white with just a little bit of white around the edge, about a 1/16 of an inch showing all the way around. Okay? And then you're going to take your strip of basic white and stamp your sentiment. Now I'm using the Happy Birthday here from the Beautiful Butterflies. The nice thing is we have a ton of sets that have this little Happy Birthday that's just long and small like that, so it'll work great on this little banner that I gave you. I'm going to center this on there as good as I can, not getting my head too far over it here. Hopefully it's not too bad. Oh, that works perfect, just like that. So that's our Happy Birthday banner. And then you're going to take your crab. Now there were 3 or 4 different colors of these that I cut out. Excuse me. But they're all going to match the colors on the Designer Series paper. I'm going to flip this just to be sure this is still at the bottom, that I didn't do anything weird. And we're going to add our little crab to the front of this. Now a couple things. When we add this, I want him to be holding this little banner. So the first thing I'm going to do, and you'll note if you look at your little crab, I did cut out that little slit on his claws. So I am going to tuck my Happy Birthday into his claws on those little slits. Well, just like that. And then once I get that in there, it's a little bit hard to handle, but you can do it. Once you get it in there and you have it where you want it, centered side to side, I'm going to flip it over. And I am going to take Well, you could take a mini dimensional. A mini dimensional would work perfect on here because it's small. But I'm going to take some of these edges I just cut and use them. And I'm going to adhere this dimensional so that it's holding that claw in place on the back of this banner. Okay, this one on the same side on this right here. Just like that. And then I'm going to take some of my seal and just put it across the bottom of my little crab. So now I have seal down here and the dimensionals up here. We're going to pull off the backing on those dimensionals. And we're going to place him right onto the front of here, down toward this corner, because we are going to add something here at the top. So I want him almost down to the corner here, holding up that happy birthday banner, just like that. Isn't that cute? I thought that was adorable. I loved it. And then I did die cut a little banner. Trying to remember what dies this was. Out of the mixed label dies, out of the Summer Splash cardstock, and I scored it horizontally right down the middle for you. And this is going to become a little kind of pull tab at the top of this. So on here, I am going to take a glue dot, and on one side on the back, so this is going to be my front side, on the back of it, I'm going to add a glue dot. Just like that. And we're going to stick this at the top of our card, right where that crease is, kind of fold it over, try to make sure it's centered side to side, and push that down. So now this is stuck on the front of the card, okay? Now I am not adding a glue dot here yet, and I will show you why on my pre-made one. Because what happens to this is this can stick now down inside of this little piece of plastic, if I did it all right, just like that. That little blue part that I didn't stick down yet, I'm back, and I'll show you it in a minute, is going to go inside. It sticks out just the tiniest bit at the top, and that is where they can grab this to pull this out. But what it also does is on the back, it has a place then to add your gift card. So I just added an Amazon gift card. I actually took a glue dot on the back side of this piece, right here, when I was ready with my gift card, and stuck it onto the top of the gift card, and then just set that right onto there. And I loved how it looked. The color match, which was super great. But then when they're ready to use that gift card, that'll just peel off that plasticky surface of your gift card. But it holds it in place as you tuck it back into your little envelope here. And now I have to work with both sides because I have pieces both sides. Let's see if I can get this without too much trouble. But it does fit in there nicely. So on the front is your little happy birthday. On the back is your gift card. Now what you could do with this is you could just give this to someone the way it is. I think it's adorable. It's protected. It's a great way to present it. You could put some seal on the back of here and stick it to the front of a gift bag if you have another gift in a gift bag for them. You could take a card. I don't think I have a card that matches these colors handy here. Nah, I don't even have anything I can work with. Let me see. Maybe this. Yeah, probably not. Anyway, you could take just a card base if you wanted to. Decorate it maybe to match what we're doing here with the colors and stuff. Here's just a blank card base, so you could decorate this with more of the Designer Series paper and stick that right on the front of it for a presentation. You could stick it on the inside right here. So there's lots of things you can do with this, and you can make them up ahead of time and then just add your gift cards when you're ready. So that was our bonus project this time. I really loved it. I thought it turned out stinking adorable. I hope you liked it too. I'll bring back that recipe for just a second so you can see that. Okay. And then if you by chance placed a $100 order with me, you would have received half a package of the Playing with Dots embellishment as your bonus. And that would have been right inside of this plastic envelope with this kit. So hopefully you can find that. So yay, I hope you guys liked those projects. I had so much fun making them with you. I will post all of the recipes and all of the projects, like I said, in the comments at some point today, so watch for those. Thank you for taking some time to be with me today. Thank you for your continued support. I so appreciate it. It's what keeps me going. If you enjoyed today's class and you would like to be part of next month's class, just purchase a qualifying order of at least $50 from me in the month of June, and then you will get the kit for the July class. As always, I would love to be your creative coach and demonstrator. If you have any questions at all, please reach out to me in the comments of this video or by email at crazystampinglady@gmail.com. Hey, I'll see you all soon. Bye-bye.